I'm not. Okay. All right. Let me hit OK and we're ready to go. I'm going to start this morning
Wait, yeah,
with
move me out.
with a centering prayer. Then I'm going to move Zach out. Um, Gracious God, who created us with mercy and compassion, we are open to inspiration. We are willing to express our divine nature to forgive. In your image, we are created and we yearn to express love as through your eyes. May this message add to our journey. Amen. Okay, let me see, Zach. I will do this. And basically, I've just got Neil on my screen, but that'll work out okay. um, all right. I'm just looking at Neil. Okay. Um, I've got this typed out and my glasses on, so it should be fine. My topic this morning is the nature of forgiveness. That's a pretty lofty endeavor for a short talk. So I'm going to focus on Rembrandt's painting, The Return of the Prodigal Son. Kenneth Clark, that art historian, remember that Civilization series on TV a while back? He describes this painting as, quote, a picture in which those who have seen the original in St. Petersburg may be forgiven for claiming as the greatest picture ever painted. And the painting was done at the end of Rembrandt's life, which was in 1669. And over the decades of his creative years, he spent a good deal of time contemplating this one prodigal son biblical story. He did lots of sketches, he did etchings, he painted a full, colorful picture of the son out in his reveling days. And it was very personal for him. And to think of this painting, we've got this little picture we've looked at, if you had a chance to look at it before. It's 6 by 8 feet. It's huge.
You want to do your
And
slide?
no, imagine standing in front of it at the Hermitage at St. Petersburg and just being absorbed into it. Now, according to Henry Nouwen, the Dutch priest, and he's a writer who was greatly influenced by Rembrandt, the painter was moved by this parable. And his quote is, he as much as the elder son of the parable as he is the younger son in the parable. He painted both sons in Return of the Prodigal Son. He had lived a life in which neither the lostness of the younger son nor the lostness of the elder son was alien to him. Both needed healing and forgiveness. Both needed to come home. Both needed the embrace of a forgiving father. But from the story itself, as well as from Rembrandt's painting, it is clear that the hardest conversion to go through is the conversion of the one who stayed home. One of Nouwen's most memorable books on the topic of the parable and painting is his Return of the Prodigal Son, a whole book on it. I pulled a few things from that book and a few other things from meditations on this painting. But I'm personally drawn to art, and I will attempt to guide you through an experience this morning with the on that moment of forgiveness that Rembrandt depicted. The typical way this parable is presented is with the father in the role of God, the son representing the lost mankind, asking for undeserved forgiveness. Contemplation on this would yield some wonderful insights. It's a beautiful story of unconditional love. Occasionally, the take might be focusing on the older brother. He's haughty and self-righteous, and he's jealous, real egocentric. This yields harder insights. I hope to suggest a third way of looking at the story, which may be even harder. Think about the word forgiving. In the physical world, we use it to describe the nature of things, right? Like, be careful, that fabric is not very forgiving, meaning that if you mess up your project, it could be, a total loss, or at least not good enough to use, or have a lot of remaking to it. Or, don't worry, this recipe is so forgiving. meaning if you unconsciously, accidentally put a little bit too much of one ingredient or the other, um, it can work out. It can't fail. So in our inner worlds, what is the nature of our fabric? What is our recipe for living? What messages do we reflect to those around us who want to interact with us? Be careful. Don't worry. What message are we giving ourselves? What thoughts are we putting into the universe? Is your spirit unyielding or is it adaptable? Most of the lesson is this lesson today is going to be pretty right brain. So if you know me, I've got to get this a little bit of the left in and then I'll leave it behind, you know. I affirm that we're designed to forgive. As we're created by a forgiving spirit, a forgiving God, how could it be otherwise? Health professionals confirm the benefits of developing a forgiving spirit. Lowers your risk of heart attack, improves cholesterol levels, improves sleep, reduces pain, reduces blood pressure, reduces anxiety, depression, and stress. And especially for this particular group, research points to, at the Mayo Clinic, research points to an increase in the health/forgiveness connection as you age. The older you get, the more forgiveness helps you. Now, Johns Hopkins, the researcher I looked at was Dr. Karen Schwartz. She focused on a lack of forgiveness. Chronic anger puts you into fight or flight mode, right? Heart rate changes, as do your blood pressure, your immune responses. And she also found in her research that forgiveness can decrease the risk of diabetes. What? You know, but that's what she found. So our bodies work better if we forgive. Our spirit works better if we forgive. So why wouldn't we take the doctor's advice and just cultivate forgiveness? Because it's really hard. Is it our default mode to be hurt, to hold a grudge, to lose relationships, to negative self-talk ourselves, so to speak? Or do we just live forgiveness unceasingly every day? That's certainly not very easy. Many medical sources that I saw went on to list all these ways you could learn to be a more forgiving person, which would include contemplation, empathy, loosen your expectation of others, make the choice to forgive, think deeply and honestly about the party you feel wronged you, and forgiving yourself. And from the religious spiritual side, meditation and practice can be a means to achieving a forgiving nature, a nature that is in line with how we were designed. I love contemplating and meditating on works of art. And if I review it again, repeated viewing just result in a new insight. The average museum patron spends 3 to 5 seconds viewing a work of art. Just a quick glance. So today, I hope you've all had a little bit of a chance to spend more time than that contemplating the Return of the Prodigal Son painting by Rembrandt. We sent it out early, but if you didn't see it, if I can make my screen share do what I wanted to do, you can spend some time this morning. And maybe you had a chance to read or reread or just remember the story of the prodigal son. Okay, now for the right brain part and the screen share. All right, come on. Share photos. Then I need to go to prodigal son. Let's see. I have to put the numbers in again and add. So I'm going to have to do that each time. Can you all see that picture?
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Yeah. Okay, Neil. Thank you. So I'm going to allow, a few seconds for you guys just to look at this in case you didn't have a chance to look at it. Do not repay evil for evil or insult with insult, but on the contrary, For this you were called. That's a 1 Peter 3:9. Do good to those who hate you. That's Luke 6:27. When we are cursed, we bless. When we are persecuted, we endure it. When we are slandered, we answer kindly. 1 Corinthians. Big Paul challenge there to the new Christians. Now I want you to relax. Just move into this painting. Find what speaks to you and listen. Then use all of your senses. The sun with a stench of pigs. The father with perfume of the wealthy. It's blending together with the aroma of a feast being prepared. Feel the heat of the day on your skin. Feel the touch of hands, the emotion of the day. Notice that older brother, the good brother. Next to him is a seated figure. It's Rembrandt himself participating in this homecoming. And there are two women in the shadows. We don't know who they are. A mother, the prodigal's espoused, a handmaid. Try and connect with the figures in the shadows as well. Oh, did I not leave it long enough? Okay. I can go back through those again. Spirituality is about seeing. Once we see, the rest follows. If our eye is healthy, then our whole body will be full of light. That's Matthew 6:22. Rembrandt was gifted with that ability to see, and he gifted it to us if we take the time. What do you see? Did you see the light and darkness? And then that embrace leaping out? It's right in the light. The light is shining out from the forgiving figure. The observers are gradually fading into the background. That just chiaroscuro that Rembrandt uses, that's characteristic of a lot of his paintings. He helps you to see what is important to him in a painting. But what seems important to you? I'm going to read from a meditation by Juliet Brenner speaking about this painting and Rembrandt's interpretation. His is a moment of complete calm, a hushed and awesome silence. The eyes of all the spectators in this tableau are riveted on the two figures who are bathed in light and color. It is the moment of humble surrender for the younger son. He kneels before his father with his head buried against his chest, embraced in strong arms that offer forgiveness and restoration. He is clasped so tightly that he can hear his father's heartbeat. It is a heartbeat that throbs with the rhythm of love and tenderness, in spite of the unlovely estate of the son. It is the life pulse of the father that reminds and reaffirms the son who he is and where his identity is grounded. In your imagination, repaint the scene. Where would you place yourself? Which character do you identify with? Do you find yourself in different roles at different times? I'm going to screen share again if I can. Get it there, share photos. Okay. Get that out of the way. Place yourself in the role of the son. He's lost. He's in a state of surrender after a time of suffering and despair. He's consumed by fear. He needs forgiveness. He didn't know if his father would give it to him. He was calm, now. You're silent now. You're in the role of the son. Can you hear the father's heartbeat? Can you feel the heartbeat? How is this complete surrender affecting the son? How is it affecting you? Did the son release the indignity of his torn uh, clothing, his worn out shoes, his filthy body? But he was now free, having been forgiven. Kneel with him briefly and experience that freedom. The role of the son, it's a pretty familiar role for many. It's not hard to unwrap this. We find ourselves in need of forgiveness an awful lot. Let me see if I can. Now I have to go back and do the whole thing over again. Okay. Stop share, start share. Mhm. Add. Now look at the brother standing off to the side. This is the other side of the spiritual struggle. The elder son shows us how challenging it is to accept grace, to accept forgiveness, and you feel overlooked. How hard it is to love unconditionally when we're stuck in all of our own stuff. What kinds of choices do we make regarding love and acceptance? In this story, the son does not want to join the party. What is he thinking? What's he feeling? Can you stand in his shoes? Can we relate to him? Well, I think, of course, we can. Nouwen said, by painting not only the younger son in the arms of his father, but also the elder son, who can still choose for himself, for or against the love that's being offered to him, Rembrandt presents me, Nouwen, with the inner drama of the soul, his as well as my own. Nouwen went on to spoke of the chance to choose joy. The struggle of the elder son to leave cynicism behind and choose joy is a daily struggle for all of us. He talked about intent and how it creates your perspective of a moment. Your daily choice leads to despair or celebration. The elder son suffers because he refuses to choose joy. It must be actively sought. It must be actively embraced. Nouwen recognized how hard it is to do that in the world that we have. It's so negative. Nouwen's affirmation, every moment of each day, I have the chance to choose between cynicism and joy. Now stand with the brother. Live in his judgment of others. Live in his sense of superiority. Feel his anger. Experience his hurt, his pain. Is he aware of the choice he made that led to his despair? Does he know he can still join the celebration? Does he understand that he too is a lost son? Even though he didn't join the family in the parable, Rembrandt places him at the scene of the homecoming as a spectator, just outside of this brilliant circle of light. There are some similarities between him and his brother, him and his father, particularly the father. We don't see the younger son's face that well, but the elder resembles the father in the painting. He's got the same luxurious clothing as well, but there's no tender expression, no love reflected. Even when the father's light is landing on him, it partially illuminating him, but it doesn't fill him with the light. Instead, just allows us to see who he really is, this bitter, unyielding man. Rembrandt places him at the very edge of the tableau as well, standing above the central figures. He's higher up by a couple of steps than the others. He's aloof. He's judging. His arms are held close into his body. His posture is kind of rigid and cold. When you stand with him, do you sympathize? He worked hard. He did the right thing. He stayed home. But is he as homeless internally as his brother is literally homeless? See, unwilling to receive the generosity of love and forgiveness offered. He could have chosen joy, but it was too difficult. Do you hurt for him? Now I've got to redo my screen shares. And I'll try to do 1, 2, 3, add. There we go. Well, I must have picked the wrong one. Well, we can see Rembrandt. I have a close up of Rembrandt, but we can see him there in the with looking down from the older son. I'm not going to do that one again. The father, the son, and the older son are the main figures of the drama. The other figures are emerging out of the darkness. Now, the seated man is a self-portrait, but in this case, you see that Rembrandt is looking at, considering, contemplating the younger son. He used to paint himself into a lot of works, but this one seems a little bit different. He is maybe reflecting on his own life at this point. These two women are really in the shadows. You might not be able to see them. That one's a little bit better. This one's standing next to the pillar looking on. Typically interpreted as a serving maid. And above the father, in the background, is another woman. I don't know if you can make her out or not. See if we can make her a little bit bigger. Maybe there. Could be, anybody. But they have a purpose. They represent non-involvement, observers. They're insubstantial. One source called them phantoms in the dark who also need to become real, solid beings by emerging out of the shadows and moving into the light of love. Is it easy to stand in their places? In the shadows as spectators, unable to believe in grace and forgiveness, even if it's being portrayed right in front of you? They're afraid to engage. Are we afraid? Are we afraid to open ourselves up to being forgiven or to forgive? Are we just standing outside of the light? Yeah, let's see. Well, but the real focus of the story is the father. His face, his open arms. In those we see unconditional love, acceptance, forgiveness. If we take the risk to enter into his circle of light, vulnerable and open, we are transformed. Like the sun, we move toward becoming our authentic self. With no worry of our external nature, we begin to bear a family resemblance to the Father. This is the typical interpretation of the scene and the intent of the parable Jesus shared, probably as well. I want you to focus on the Father. I'll put his hand up in a moment. His hands up in a moment. We recall the words of Jesus in Matthew 23. How often I've wanted to gather your children together, the way a hen gathers her chicks under her wings. All right, I'll try this one more time. Share photos, full picture. Oh, I've got to go down to here. All the way to the beginning. There, the full picture is 1, 2, add. All right, should be good. Focus on that red robe. It's like the wings of that hen gathering her chicks under her wings, gathering the sun up. Feel the warmth of embrace. Relax. This is where we were meant to be, forgiven and whole. But as Nouwen says, the true center of the painting is not the Father forgiving the Son. When this was finally pointed out to me, it changed my reading of the parable. It's about us finding our divine nature, leaning into our spiritual self, showing us how to do it, instructing us how to do it, showing us how we can shine this light, this nature of ours out into the world. Look closely. These hands are quite different. The right hand is smaller, more delicate, more feminine and refined. It rests on the right side of the son's back. That's the side which shows a completely naked foot. It is a vulnerable side. It's a more tender side that this motherly hand caresses and nurtures. This hand is offering comfort and gentleness. It gives a picture of the maternal love. It reminds us of Isaiah, and quoting God in Isaiah, can a woman forget her nursing child? Even these may forget, but I will not forget you. Behold, I have inscribed you on the palms of my hands. Now, the left hand is masculine and strong. It's larger and more powerful. It rests with more pressure on the son's right shoulder. This strong hand protects rather than punishes or hurts, however. Feel the pressure, the touch of these hands. Feel the welcome back. How do these hands express how we relate to others in forgiveness, in kindness, and compassion? Allow yourself to be held in this embrace, this dual embrace. Feel the shelter. Feel the strength. Feel the gentleness. This is divine compassion, divine nurture, a nurture which can comfort and protect, coming from one source. As Nouwen says of the Father, his only desire is to bless. But the challenge for us is to stand as the Father. Can you place yourself in the role of the Father? Free of judgment, reaching out, comfortable, unconcerned with the condition of the one who is in need of forgiveness, unconcerned with the past, joyful, able to forgive unconditionally, aware of the importance of this one moment. Stand for a second in this divine moment. The moment of divine forgiveness that can heal, restore, and transform. It's a powerful moment. When we see this figure as God, it's easy. Oh, well, God can do that, right? But we have this ability as part of our divine nature. And what an awesome gift this is. It is this gift of the desire to bless. Reverend Benner from earlier on, I quoted, and she says, from the ends of his cape flow luxurious crimson tassels toward the shoulders of the Son. The Father's own lifeblood appears to be pouring into the Son, offering a fresh transfusion that will restore new life to him. We also have the potential to do this for others. How do you feel as you sense the Son's body relaxing and warming? As your heartbeat blends with his, as he wants to stay in your embrace, can we risk this kind of love the Father extended? Can we love without expecting anything in return, without having any control? Are we able to see other people through eyes of love and acceptance? Can we release cool judgmentalism? Are we able to enter into the joy of another's forgiveness? In closing this talk, I want to quote Henry Nouwen again from his book, Return of the Prodigal Son. I now see that the hands that forgive, that console, heal, and offer a festive meal must become my own. Think about the spiritual and worldly benefits of forgiveness. If we forgive, we are living out our divine nature. We are fulfilling our potential to bring light into the world. These hands of a dual nature, must become our own. So, thank you for listening. Zak's going to do a little meditation, and I'll turn the screen back toward his direction. Okay, here you go, Zachy.
Okay, I have a question. I'm going to ask you all to meditate with your eyes open. Do you want the recording on or not?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I need to get a little bit. Okay. I want you to look at your hands. Keep your eyes open and look at your hands. They contain all the power and passion of life and God. They are the yin and the yang, each complete yet yet within the wholeness, there's a fragment of the other. This shows us that we contain all those gifts within our hands. Look at them. These powers and gifts are complementary and opposite. Our artist, Rembrandt, knew that at a time when the powerful hands of the Father could not be seen as the nurturing, comforting hands of a feminine presence, a mother. But we have both of them. Know that and look at your hands. We know that the Father is not just a reflection of the character of God. He is a reflection of all the gifts and aspects that we have within our hands. Look at them and know that you possess His power and passion, power and compassion. Thanks be to all aspects inside of us, and thanks be to God. If you wish, you can take a moment of silence. Close your eyes, but first, look at your hands.
Yeah.
Isn't it? You may come back now, slowly, with the knowledge of your own power. You can close your eyes, you may open them. Raise your head.
Okay. Okay. When Zach was talking to me about this topic, he said, maybe whenever you feel limited, just always remember to look at your hands. And that'll be something that, you can take away from our talk today. Okay, so those are my thoughts on the painting, my thoughts on how you can use a painting as a means of meditating on something a little more deeply, and of trying to bring in. I had so much information, and I hope I didn't just put little dribs and drabs of things in there that was able to come together. But I thank you for your attention. And if you have anything, advice, or any feedback you'd like to give me, uh, feel free. And good to see you, Jane. And uh, who else did I see? Oh, yeah, other people who came on in there that in the last minute. Yes, some more girls. It wasn't just me and the guys. Good, good, good. Patty, yeah, okay. All right, I'll turn it over to you, Neil. For
Well, I always have something to say, so don't turn it over to me. But um, it, what you said about when you look at a painting, the average, when you're in a gallery and you're thinking about time and all that, um, three minutes is a lot, is a long time.
well, 3 seconds is what they said. three
Yeah,
seconds,
3 seconds.
nothing.
Jesse and I, when we were at the Capella Sistina, um, which you had to go downstairs and then you open up into the Sistine Chapel and all the kids are like spread eagle on the floor going, looking up at the ceiling,
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
hippies, like we used to be.
Hmm.
But it's just that picture, even though I did the homework assignment, I didn't really look at it.
Hmm.
I probably gave it maybe less than 30 seconds. I mean, I looked at it a couple of times, but I just looked at it again a little bit deeper. I didn't, I didn't even know the tall figure was the older son. I was
Hmm.
looking elsewhere for the older son.
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm thinking, who is that guy? But he had similar robes on,
Hmm. Hmm.
And then when I looked at the father, and I never realized the difference in the hands,
Hmm.
how they can be interpreted, one masculine, one feminine.
Hmm.
And even in that, underneath, was it the left hand in the robe of the
Hmm.
father?
Hmm.
You can almost make out through a mesh screen an elder, um, old being that represented to me just ancient, not despair, but just grief
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
was still in the picture. But
Hmm.
beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So we all
Hmm.
look
Oh
at
yeah,
the same thing and see different things and interpret
yeah.
different
And
things.
but it's what it can, how it can
Right.
inform how
Well,
we can take that into the world. Yeah, great. Thank you.
the prodigal son, unfortunately, is a deeper meaning in this household because of our son,
Hmm. Hmm.
who's still out and about, so to speak,
Hmm.
way beyond
Hmm.
the walkabout.
Hmm.
And he didn't
Hmm.
leave with inheritance because he makes a hell of a lot more money than we do.
Hmm.
But he left and then years ago came back and then he left again.
Hmm.
So, there's all that grief that a lot of families today, parents, grandparents are
Hmm.
experiencing, the
Hmm.
breakup in homes with
Hmm.
their young ones. But
Right, right.
Mary
So
had
it's
her hand
easy.
up.
Yeah. So it
So,
was easy for you to place yourself in those different roles. Yeah.
yes. So we
Hmm.
keep praying for him and his
Yes,
family.
we will. We will.
Mary, you had your hand up?
Yeah, thank you so much. Um, Jody, I really loved, to me, what you did as Lectio Divina, right?
Yeah,
Of
yeah, it
taking
was.
and putting yourself and using that with our eyes, right? Being able to look at a picture and help us get there instead of just closing our eyes and imagining was so
Right.
powerful for me. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
Really, really well done. And with the tech, I know how difficult that is for me, and it was really well done. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Thank you. I'm glad it was
And
meaningful. What?
Yeah.
I
John?
hope I wasn't too soft.
You
Talk to
were
you.
perfect, Zach. I wanted to thank you for that meditation of so smoothly went from the father's hands in the picture. What a great transition into looking at my own hands. So, so powerful.
So thank you. I just want to make sure my personal voice was loud enough.
Yeah.
Yes, I could totally perfect. The
Good.
tech was really good. I wanted to share my reflection as far as when I was looking at my personal hands, I was thinking two things came to mind that almost brought me tears. Um, One was the ability, the gift of being able with my brother to be, I wasn't with him when he took his last breath,
Mhm.
but I was in the room and then they gave me time. I asked for time and I got to anoint his body
Okay.
and I got to anoint his hands.
Mhm. Oh, his hands.
And actually just kind of started at his feet. And it was such a powerful thing. So touch, even though the spirit had already left the body, it was so powerful.
Mhm.
And then that took me to my work with people in hospice and in memory care that it's so amazing. People, I use the music, and the music often wakes them up. But what wakes them up the most, quote unquote, is we are taught from a tiny age to shake hands.
Mhm.
So if I extend my hand to someone, they tend to wake up, look at me, look at my hand, and try
Mhm.
to reach out and shake
Mhm.
my hand.
Mhm.
And so thank you, Zach, for taking me into that meditation.
You're very well.
Good. And thank you for sharing your story. That is meaningful on a couple levels for me. So thank you.
John? John, you had something.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Three relatively short things. There's a book I have on lucid dreaming, which I have not used yet because it requires a discipline of sleeping and waking. But in the book, one of the exercises is that when you are in the dream, they suggest that you look at your hands
Mm.
while you're in the dream.
Mm.
It's a point of interest. Another thing on the subject of art, I love taking some of my paintings now and then. These are reproductions from the National Gallery of Art,
Mhm.
and I love using them to improvise music. So the art and the
Mhm.
music elements are important for a lot of us. That's a
Mhm.
nice thing. And the third quick thing is, I would love it if we could possibly organize a field trip to the National Gallery of Art. They have a couple of eateries there, and
Mhm.
I've often gone to write in my journal and to contemplate. So if that could be discussed, I'm available. I have a little RAV4. It's
Mhm.
16 years old, but it'll get us there and back. You know, I can tie some of you onto the roof rack,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
we'll all get there.
Mhm.
So thanks for the talk. I thought it was splendid. I benefited enormously.
And
Thank you,
thank you, John.
Zach and Jody.
Thank you very
Very,
much.
very well.
Mhm. Mhm.
Oh, and Frank. Go ahead, Frank.
Oh, yeah. A couple things came to mind for me. The uh, the father with the hands on the shoulders. It was like balancing the male to the female and female to the male.
Mm.
And I pictured the women in the background as being possibly the emotional state of the father. He had to put that away
Mhm.
so he could connect. You know, he
Mhm.
probably had all kind of emotions. You know,
Mhm.
why did you leave me?
Mhm.
Why are you coming back? So he had to put that in the back so he could be present with his son.
Mhm.
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
that was, and I'm always impressed that there's so much symbolism out there. We just don't tune our right brains to look at it. Same with poetry or
Mhm.
prose or short stories, that type of thing.
Mhm.
And it's a great source, taking that symbolism and translating it into what's in here personally. So
Mhm. Mhm.
thanks. I really enjoyed that.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you
Thank
did. Yeah, I appreciate the comments that they're just adding to it. So I'm glad, Neil, you suggested to keep recording. Anybody else?
Can I just say
Jenny?
something quick? It was absolutely wonderful, both of you. Thank you. Oh, your symbolism of the hands really affected me because, again, what Frank was saying, the male female thing.
Mhm.
Lately in my readings and stuff, there's been this talk. The message has been we all have the male and the female in us.
Mhm.
And for women, the male, the female side is a little, higher
Mhm.
percentage wise, but there's got to be the male. You cannot have one or the other.
Mhm.
And there has to be balance.
Mhm.
And that's what we're going through, I think, in the world right now, trying to find the balance. So
Mhm.
seeing visually, which I didn't see originally when I looked at the picture,
Mhm.
the female nurturing, loving, the male strong, and it was protective. It was perfect. So both of you was great. Thank you.
Thank you. Glad you enjoyed it. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, Neil and Patty. Okay, Leon. I see his hand going up and down every time. Then Patty.
Often confuse us both, yes.
Mhm.
Well, thank you, Jody. This was a very powerful message today. And, uh, there's so many levels, as we're pointing out, that we can interpret this painting with. And uh, one of those levels, I think, is that we've all been in each one of those roles before. And I kind of focused a little bit on the gal in the shadows.
Mhm.
That um, sometimes we're in a situation where we don't know what we can do or what we should do. We're awkward, but the important thing is that we're there and willing to help. Maybe that's one of the roles that we should not overlook,
Mhm.
that
Okay.
just being there for folks.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
but I wish I was as smart as Frank, though. He had great comments.
Mhm. Yeah. We all do. We all do. Okay, Patty.
We have this situation in our family. I'll first say that the opportunity to be here with you today is just amazing and wonderful. We have a couple of situations in our family just lately that and Leon's comment about we help by being in the community of people who are trying to figure things out for each other, and our situation for unforgiveness and the power of trying to hurt the other person because we're getting hurt between two siblings in our family, namely my sister's two kids are fighting over an inheritance in the most bitter way that you would only think that you would ever read it in a story. You know what I'm saying? And my mother was, I mean, my sister was a peacemaker. So to have her children go through what they're going through, and they're both fighting their inner spirit of trying to dominate the other or be powerful or get their mother's attention or their father's attention. You see all this stuff going on. As a counselor, I'm always looking for the innuendos and the underneath and stuff. And it was so bad this past couple 3 or 4 weeks that yesterday I'm this person in the shadow now, as Leon says, and I called Silent Unity for prayer for the two of them. And the prayer that the gal and the message that she spoke to me was so powerful and so wonderful. And it gave me a little more peace because my, maybe like standing tall like the brother trying to figure out why is the father loving this kid who hasn't been here for years, and I've been a supporter. And there's so many messages through the fabric of what you said. It's just amazing to me that it was today, and it was at this moment. There's no coincidence. And I haven't seen Mary Shapiro for a while. Mary, it's wonderful to see you today. I love you. And Jody, you're always my rock and garden of joy.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thank you for that meditation.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. We're do together. Great. Thank you. We love you, Patty.
Love you too.
Terry, would you like to say something? It's up to you. Before you sing us out, before I do statements.
I have my hand up. Were you saying Terry or Mary?
Terry.
Oh, well, she's got her hand up, so.
Well, she did. She's looking at her hands right now. It's a recording.
Sorry.
Well,
I
go ahead,
really
Mary.
liked the idea of having a road trip, and I just wanted to encourage y'all, and I put in the chat as well, 2 possible road trips as well. There's something called the Great Mother March. So if you had all followed and were moved by the Monks March from Texas to DC, the Great Mother March started on solstice and in Asheville, North Carolina, and will finish on Earth Day in Washington, D.C. And it's about positive power from usually unpowerful places like the planet Earth itself, as well as the feminine in all of us, as Jane said. I put the link in the chat, greatmothermarch.com. It's free. You can participate in any way you want. I might go into DC. I'll definitely be in Warrenton. The other thing to save on your calendar, if you're interested in a field trip out to Stillwaters on the first Saturday in May 2nd this year, is the World Labyrinth Day. So find a labyrinth and walk for peace at one. We walk as one at one around the world, and we'll be doing it here at Stillwaters. We have a masculine divine labyrinth and we have a feminine divine labyrinth. And I would love to see any and all of you live in person. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bilateral labyrinth?
Bilateral. They're kind of next to each other. I don't know. They're mirror images. So if you look at your hands, and if, as Zach was saying, look at both the backs and the fronts, you put one up and one down. That's the path of the labyrinths. So
Terry?
thank you again, Zach and Jody.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Terry, you would like to share anything?
Well, I was thinking my first reaction was this being Palm Sunday. I had the picture in my mind of Jesus coming in on a donkey and coming down into the city of Jerusalem, and then I just took that and sort of overlapped it into the prodigal son. And my question for myself, which I'll share with all of you, is which son was he? In that case, how would we interpret that? Was he the son who had always done the good thing and was coming in and with expectation of goodness coming to him, or was he the prodigal son coming in? And my mind says, well, he was the prodigal. He was the one that came in who did not want to follow all those rules and regulations and wanted to be able to say, then would the very rocks cry out. And that I just love that phrase. And there's a song about that too that's beautiful. The other part was during the meditation, looking at my hands, and it immediately drew me to a memory of looking at my father's hands, who was a skilled laborer, and his hands were calloused and rough. And I can remember him touching me and it just being, just like, golly, it was more like a paw than a hand, just because he'd worked, twisting pipes and doing all this stuff that he'd done all his life. And I got the impression in my mind as a child of that's a real hand. That's the hand of a man.
Mhm.
And I would see these other people and I would say, that's a banker's hand.
Mhm.
That's a preacher's hand. No calluses, anything,
Mhm.
just pink and
Mhm.
soft. And when I
Mhm.
would, they'd shake my little hand as a kid and I'd think, that's not a hand, that's just some kind of a limp fish thing. And that was my impression as a child. And then when uh, Zach was saying, look at your hands, I have these soft preacher hands. At one time in my life, had hands like my father and did a lot of chores where I used my hands a lot and had calluses on them.
Mhm.
And now I have those banker's hands, those preacher's hands, and it sort of brings it all together, just like the idea of the feminine hand of the father and the masculine hand of the father. I've experienced both, and I was real grateful, uh, Zach, that you had us look at our hands because it just sort of brought a whole thing back together for me, and it was wonderful. Thank
Very
you.
well. Very well.
That brings a new meaning to the day,
Mhm.
Palm Sunday.
Palm Sunday.
Palm Sunday, yeah,
Yeah,
Mhm.
I
yeah.
really
I hadn't thought about that. That's
I
good.
really appreciate everybody's comments, and that's what's the beauty of our gathering on Sunday. It's the message followed by the interpretation and offerings of incredible personal stories from the group. We are an incredible community, and I thank you all for being here. I mean, Mary was talking about anointing her her brother. I had to go view the body of my mother when she passed in Florida, and they wheeled her out and right out of the cooler, so to speak, and I touched her forehead, and immediately the message was, "She's not here, Neil.
Mhm.
She's not here now."
Nobody
So
home.
it just was an incredible experience for me. So I anointed her with my finger, the body at least, before it went back into
Mhm.
the cooler.
Mhm.
And a lot of your messages are just being there for somebody. Sometimes it's not necessary to speak,
Mhm.
just to be
Mhm.
there. But
Mhm.
the way the message was, the interpretation of the picture was so intense, and things I've never even looked at when I did the homework assignment, which I thought I did, but I didn't. So,
Well, I didn't ask you to do all that. I just said be familiar with it in case it doesn't come up on the
so
screen.
I just want to thank you both, and
You're welcome.
Palm Sunday forever will have changed its meaning to me, and I will look at my
Yeah,
hands a lot more these days. So thank you.
Okay.
yeah.
I'd like to close with a couple of statements as we normally do, because we are so blessed as a small community, but a powerful one. Our affirmations for love offerings and tithes. So take a deep breath in and look at your palms when I say these words. Divine love flowing through me and my palms blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive. And I usually say we. So let's follow that with divine love flowing through all of us, blesses and multiplies all that we are, all that we have, all that we give, and certainly all that we receive. And our prayer of protection, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over all of us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Mhm.
And Terry, if you would sing us out,
I'll try.
I'll try, okay? Or
Let
play
me
us
get a
out,
key here.
okay?
Get a quick key here. Can you hear my guitar now?
No.
Okay. I'll have to work on that.
While he's getting his
For
guitar,
some of you that don't know, I got a gremlin in my computer, and I had to have everything wiped out of my computer and redone. And so that's what I've been doing for the last week is trying to get my emails up, everything. So it's been a mess.
You had one of these, right, Terry?
I did. I had a, well, I asked him, I said, what was, is there a name for the virus that was in my computer? And the guy looked at me and said, you. I opened something that caused all of this, allowed something to get in. I didn't recognize a phishing email or something like that, and thought it was the bank trying to contact me. And of course, the bank told me later we would never do that way. So don't go there anymore.
Well, just
Just a
Okay.
reminder, Terry, that you'll be fishing with us next week. No, you won't. You're
Right,
giving
I
us
will.
the Easter message next week. So
Yes, I will be doing the Easter message. I don't know if I could ever do a comparison like you did today. It was just great, both of you. Thank you so much. So there's a C. Okay, so here we go. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me or thee.
happy Palm
Thank
Sunday,
you,
everybody.
Terry.
Happy Easter, Palm Sunday.
We'll see you
Palm
next.
See you
Sunday
next week,
now.
hopefully.
Yeah,
Yep.
be here next week.
Bye.
Check
Thank
Love
them
you.
out.
y'all.
Thanks, Zach. Thanks, Jody.
Okay, you're welcome.
Love you, Neil. Bye.
Bye-bye now. Take care, Mom.
thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Beautiful.
Wow. Joyous, wonderful.
Oh, wasn't it a beautiful
Oh,
service?
I so benefited from that.
And thank you for your suggestion. That's kind of, I guess we could get at least two cars together. I think if
Oh,
somebody,
sure.
the weather's nice.
I'd
It's just,
love to do
I
that.
mean, I can't believe that some of the greatest pieces of art in history that I look at and just look over to the next one that's on the an opposite wall, you know? I mean, that's why they have seats in some of the masters to just sit there.
Yes.
So thanks, John, for
Yes.
being part
Oh,
of
I'd love to do
our
that.
community.
You know,
Yeah.
on the subject of art and hands and doing things and music, I've often wondered. Once I had an accident in the army. I almost lost the tip of this finger. You can sort of see it's a little distorted there, and I got some movement back in it. You know, I had some very painful therapy that I gave myself. But the point being that our hands are so important. We learn so much with the tactile sensations. And I found great benefit in flexing the end joints, the middle joints, the inner joints, and exercising the hands to combat some of the triggers that I'm getting in the flexor tendons of my hands, you know.
Mhm.
That's a long-winded way of saying, though, that with creative pursuits, we can really develop and keep our minds active in very important ways.
Well, actually, my mind is so active that it forgot to stop the recording.
Oh, that's interesting.
So we are finishing up as a after kind of math little rant or whatever. So
Yeah.
anyway, I want to thank you for being part of our congregation and
Oh,
Terry.
yes. It's hard for me to get on board every Sunday because my dear wife and I have so little time during the week that on the weekends we are doting upon each other. But that's another story. But I'm happy to be here. I think so much of our people and everybody who showed up today was exactly the right selection.
All right. On that note, I'm going to stop the recording, if that's okay. Hold
Oh,
I
on a
was
wow.
going
minute.
to ask you, are you recording still? Or did you know you're recording still?